Welcome to the Seller Roundtable e-commerce coaching and business strategies with Andy Arnott and Amy Wees.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Andy Arnott, and Amy Wees is not here today. She is in China, so I am on a solo mission, which should be fun, even though we will miss Amy a lot. She's over in China doing her sourcing trip, posting all kinds of fun pictures and eating all kinds of crazy foods. It looks like a lot of fun. But anyway, you guys are gonna have to deal with me today. What we're gonna do today is I went through Amy and my group, and we went and found kind of some of the top questions that we get asked in the group, and I'm gonna go and explain those today. It's some of the ones that we see over and over again, so hopefully you guys will get some value out of this. For those of you who are joining us live, if you guys haven't joined us live, you need to do that, because then you can ask us questions in real time and we'll answer them for you. It's Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific time. The short link is sellerseo.com/SRT. That'll bounce you over to the right page to register. It's free. You just do a quick registration, and then once you do that every week, you can just click on the link and join us and be part of the live show. We also usually at the end of recording, we stop the recording and we just kind of sit here and chat and banter with people who showed up live, and there's usually some really great content, some stuff that we don't share on the podcast. So definitely hope that you guys join us if you haven't done so yet live. You guys can interact with us, ask questions, and we're here to help you guys. All right, guys. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So I think I don't know if I mentioned the episode, even though nowadays that doesn't really matter. This is episode 36. If I didn't mention that, I did now. One of the biggest questions, issues, things that we see over and over and over and over again are getting reviews. If you guys haven't been involved in Amazon for a long time, you won't remember, but about back 2-3 years ago, the common practice was to give a promotional discount, so like a coupon code, sometimes for quite a high value, like 80% off, 90% off, 99% off, and then in exchange for that discount, the seller would ask the buyer to leave a review of the product. That, of course, got shut down by Amazon, which in my opinion was a good move. I think that we were getting a lot of fake reviews, a lot of gaming of the system. Unfortunately, that still happens, but kind of the gaming has changed a little bit. So I'm going to actually share with you guys kind of the safe ways to get reviews, kind of what I use, and then I will give you kind of the gray hats. Some would maybe even consider it black hat ways of getting reviews. Some people might not like the fact that I'm sharing the gray hat stuff, but it's pretty prevalent. So if you haven't heard of it, heard it from me, you've probably heard it somewhere else. If you're in any Facebook group for Amazon sellers, you already know this and seen this. But I'm going to go ahead and go through that. Kind of some of the ways that you guys can get reviews in 2019 today in Q4 here. If you're listening to this recorded, it's probably a little after that. But anyway, so if you're wondering how you can get reviews on products, I'm going to tell you kind of the safe ways, and then I will put a caveat on the ways that are a little iffy, in my opinion. So one of the safe ways is the Amazon Early Reviewer Program. If you're not familiar with that, it's you pay Amazon, I believe it's a $65 fee, and they kind of do follow-up emails and interactions with the people who've purchased your products for you, and ask them. They usually give them like a $1, $2 digital credit to watch movies on Amazon, or some kind of little perk to try to tempt people in there to go and leave a review. In my experience, it does work, but it can take months, and it only works if you're a seller who sells a lot of volume. If you don't sell a lot of volume, it's going to be a little bit difficult to get those reviews through the early reviewer program. But definitely, to me, it's worth a try. Whenever I launch a new product, I sign up for it no matter what. My theory there is if it works, and I believe they say that they have to get you 3 reviews or else they refund that money. So to me, it's a no-brainer. It's like, you might as well give it a try. If you don't get the reviews, then you get your money back, but at least, you might have the option to get some of those reviews in. So that's number one. And like I said, that's a safe way for sure to get reviews. Now, another way to get reviews, way that we use, but we're a very high volume seller, so this might not be the case for a lot of you guys. But of course, I just want to mention it is PPC. When we first launched, we put a lot of budget behind our PPC. We push for multiple reasons. Number one, we want to push the rank of that product. We want that honeymoon period, which, if you guys don't know, the first month you launch a product, Amazon kind of gives it a little extra ranking boost. So we really want to hit that first 30 days hard. So we go really aggressive with PPC. In turn, we get a lot of orders, and then even if we get a small percentage of those orders, then we end up with some reviews. So that's definitely a safe way, and a way that we have used in the past to get some of those reviews. Something else that we use, and it's pretty simple but can be effective, is product insert cards. If you don't know what that is, that's just an insert that says, "Hey, thanks for buying our products. We'd really appreciate your feedback. Go to, you can use, we use a QR code on our card, so people can just scan it with their phone to go and leave a review. Or you can, put a link. If it's a link to Amazon, you don't have to worry about it being against TOS. That's fine. You just don't want to, try not to divert people away from Amazon using that insert card. Another thing you can do, however, is, and we've done this before, which is not really in terms of getting reviews, but it's just communicating with your customers in the future, is to put if you offer any kind of warranty, you can make customers register for that warranty, and in turn, get things like their email address, their phone number. And then you can go back and communicate with those customers later on. So definitely something to think about if you're doing product insert cards. But yep, with those product insert cards, you can hopefully get some reviews that way. Now, something you want to be careful of is you don't want to craft the wording of the product insert card in a positive way. So in other words, you don't want to say like, "Hey, if you had an awesome experience, go and leave me a review. If you didn't have an awesome experience, don't leave me a review." You want to try to stay away from that kind of verbiage. If you're crafty, you can sort of get away with being, a little bit like that, but just be really careful. That can get you in hot water if you're only trying to, divert, only the positive reactions rather than just an honest review. The word honest review, I think it's good to put honest review in the text. I think Amazon will be much happier to see that. But the easiest way, honestly, to get, to make sure that you're at ease with what you put on your product insert card is just open a ticket and send it to Amazon. To me, I'd rather have them say, if you say, "Hey, I'm planning on putting this product insert into my products, here's what it, attach it front and back so they can see it." And then, Amazon can let you know if they feel like that's a positive or negative. Like, "Hey, you can't do that," or "Yeah, that looks fine." Seller support doesn't always give you the right answers, but if you were to ever get in hot water, at least you have that ticket to refer back to and say, "Hey, I did my due diligence here. I asked you guys said it was fine. I even attached a photograph, or the copy of what I was doing. So, hopefully that gets you out of hot water if you end up in hot water. But definitely suggest that you do that. That's what I did, for our product inserts. Okay. So next, email follow-ups. That is something that a lot of sellers use. I personally have never used them because I'm looking at it from a customer-centric point of view, and I absolutely hate getting those follow-up emails. So for me, I will pass on sending follow-up emails. That being said, I know a lot of sellers use them. I know, a lot of sellers say that they do work. So, if it's something that you want to try, absolutely give it a try, see how it works for your brand, see what kind of feedback you get. If you get people responding with expletives or, saying, "Hey, quit bothering me," that might be a good indication of maybe, wanting to reevaluate using email follow-ups. Now, email follow-ups are generally safe. There are some caveats to that. I ask you that you go and read Amazon terms of service for the email follow-ups because there's kind of a lot of rules surrounding that now. Um, so I'm not going to try to give those to you. You go and look for yourself. Just type in email follow-ups or emails with customers, something like that in Seller Central. You get some help files on that and dig through that. But one thing I do want to mention with email follow-ups. So if you have a launch of your product and you're doing email follow-ups and you haven't given any discounts, so in other words, you haven't done promotions, you haven't done rebates, you haven't done anything like that, then generally the email follow-up is a fairly safe thing to do. I believe, though, you can only send one. If you send more than one, then I think that can get you into hot water. But once again, Amazon's changed those rules all the time, so I implore you to go and look that up for yourself to make sure that whenever you listen to this, that information is up to date. Now, something you do have to be really, really careful about is doing email follow-ups asking for reviews if those orders were paired with any type of discount. If you gave you sold 50 units and you said, hey, if you buy these units you get a 90% rebate, and then you go and follow up to those customers and ask them for a review. As of right now, I haven't heard of people getting in trouble for using rebates. I know that they are for people have gotten in trouble for pairing them with discounts. I don't know if rebates are far behind in terms of service. I would not be surprised if that happens. But just be really careful with email follow-ups paired with discounts. I haven't used any type of the software in a long time, so I don't know if they have any filtering options. But if you're using an email follow-up, make sure that hopefully they have some kind of filter that says don't send this to anybody who's gotten a discounted order or something like that. If they have that filter, make sure that that's enabled, because you don't want to get in hot water with those email follow-ups. In the last maybe 3 months ago, something like that, you were seeing people coming on to Facebook seller groups saying they got their accounts banned, and people were kind of debating on what it was from, but what it shook out to be in most cases were the fact that people were giving discounts and then asking for reviews through email follow-ups. And once again, you don't want to do that. The next thing is chatbots. So chatbots is kind of a new technique, but that also seems to be gaining popularity and getting really popular with sellers. And so chatbots will be like there'll be a Facebook ad say, hey, buy my product, get a discount. Click here, and then it goes into a chatbot funnel. They say, hey, do you want your code? Somebody says yes. They give you code. Now they're in your chatbot, so you can go back and follow up with them. And then a week or 2 weeks later, whatever, they ping you on that chatbot and say, hey, you bought my product, come review it. If you're doing that with no discounts, like I said, once again, then to me that's perfectly upfront, okay, and you should not have any trouble in terms of getting into issues with Amazon. But that being said, if you're doing chatbots and you're pairing it with discounts or rebates, I would just be really careful on that. Just be really careful on how you're wording it, things like that, because there have been instances that I've heard of. I can't verify that people are getting their accounts banned because once again, pairing discounts with asking for reviews. Now, another way to get reviews on products. Once again, I've seen this before, but this seemed to be fine as of late. Once again, I implore you to go read terms of service, make sure that this is still the case. But if you do a promotion that's not over a 50% discount, so if you're doing 50% off or less, 40%, 35% off, something like that, doing promotions, as long as you're not asking for those reviews, then people can leave a review. The reason why promotions do still work is the fact that, once again, you can get that volume. So if you're giving discounted products, hopefully you're selling through a lot more products than you normally would, and just the pure volume will hopefully get you some of those reviews. Another practice that a lot of sellers are using right now are rebates. I've personally never used them yet, but I'm starting to test that, and we're going to see how that goes. But from what I've heard, they are working really, really well. So Definitely something to keep an eye on. Another kind of, you know, rebates, once again, I'm going to put that in the gray hat, way of doing things, because I feel like, in the Amazon terms of service, you're not supposed to be exchanging any type of discount for a review. I think that's kind of a technicality when it comes to rebates, but we'll just have to watch and see how that plays out. Another thing you could do is ask like people like coworkers and acquaintances, things like that. Now, technically, that could be against Amazon terms of service. Um, so once again, I'm going to put this into kind of the gray hat area, use at your own risk kind of thing. But I have heard lots of people using that method. If you're not friends with them on social media and you've never exchanged emails with them, things like that. I don't know what Amazon is plugged into in terms of watching the interactions to know if they're friends or family. I have heard that they have some of that in place. But if it's somebody that you're just an acquaintance with, say, hey, do you want a free product? And leave me a review if you like it or whatever. Once again, I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying that it's definitely something that you could try. Could get you in hot water. Just be really careful with doing that. All right, guys. So just to recap really quick here, I'm going to give you the safe ones and then the kind of gray hat ones. So early reviewer program, safe. PPC with lots of volume, of course, safe. Product insert cards, make sure that they're worded correctly, but completely safe. Like I said, submit a ticket if you're worried about that. Then you don't have to worry about running into any terms of service issues. Email follow-ups without discounts, as long as you're following the policy. I believe it's, like I said, one reply or one email to ask for it, and that's it. Make sure you go and review the policies on that to make sure that that's still the case. Email follow-ups with discounts, like I said, be really careful with those. Chat bots with no discounts, shouldn't have any trouble. Chat bots with discounts or rebates, once again, be really careful there. Promotions under 50%, last I checked, should have no problem in terms of people leaving reviews, but I would be careful about asking for reviews if they got a promotion or a discount. Rebates, once again, I would put that in the gray hat area. For now, it seems to be, fine with Amazon. That may not always be the case. So just really keep up on, the latest in terms of what's acceptable to Amazon and not. And then, like I said, kind of gray hat, be careful, coworker, acquaintance, somebody like that. You can hopefully get a few early reviews that way. All right, guys. So I'm going to move on to the next section, which, let's see. Harsha's asking, is it possible to send a product insert with URL for product warranty registration? I did cover that, Harsha. I think you jumped on a little bit after that, but not to worry. So glad you're here. Yes, you can pair a URL with a warranty link, or you can put a warranty URL in your product insert if it's to go register for a warranty. At least last I checked, when I opened a ticket to inquire on my own process of doing that, they said that's no problem. But like I said, a lot of people are scared of seller support, but a lot of times that's the best place to go, to just ask them, say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Like, would this be acceptable or not? And then that, you got a ticket to cover your bases. So definitely something to reach out and ask them. Not to worry. Okay, is it okay to, this was another question we got in one of the groups. Is it okay to post a link directly to my product in social media? Absolutely, guys. You should be utilizing your social media channels as much as possible. Build that audience, and then share your products links, your store links, things like that. The only caveat to that, I would say, is try to pair that with a two-step URL. If you don't know what a two-step URL is, Google it. Just type in how to build an Amazon two-step URL. The gist of it is you're embedding keywords in the link. To me, that's something you want to do if you're going to send somebody to your Amazon product. You don't want to just send them to the product page, because if they view the page and don't convert, then all you got there is a page view, and that won't do you much good. But if they've got that embedded keyword, you'll hopefully get some keyword rank from that. So go ahead and share away. Also, another great technique, if we're talking social media, of course, is to hire influencers. micro influencers, or even the big ones if you have the money to do so. One of my favorite sites for that is called Tomlinson. You can get on there and find micro influencers. Just make sure that you look at their profile, make sure they're not getting fake likes and friends and things like that. Make sure they're a real person interacting. One of the ways you can tell that is just to look at the comments on their post. If it's a bunch of like generic comments, then it might not be for real. But if they're actually people are commenting and they're replying to their comments, I would say that's much safer way to go. So definitely check that out. Okay, another question we got is, we see this a lot all over. I think a lot of this is from people outside of the U.S. Trying to get a trademark in the U.S. So some of the I'm not super familiar with out of the U.S. Because I don't live there, so I've never had to go through that process. But I'll just tell you that some of the services that we've used before, we used LegalZoom. That seemed to work fine, no problems there. Another one you can use is UpConsole. UpConsole is sort of similar to freelancer sites, kind of like Upwork, if you're familiar with that, or what are some of the other ones? Guru, some of the other freelancer sites, but it's only for lawyers. So you can go in there and post a project, say, hey, I want to file a trademark in the U.S. for my products on Amazon. And then lawyers will actually bid on giving you that service. So you can actually get trademarks filed for a lot less money doing it that way, because you kind of have some competition between the different lawyers to get that done. All right, something brand new, which I've dug into a little bit, but I'm not exactly sure how it's working. But because Amazon is working with pre-vetted lawyers or legal firms, I guess that's how how they've figured this out. But there's a new service called Amazon IP Accelerator that just launched, and supposedly you can, if you file a trademark through them or through one of their pre-vetted service providers, that you'll get Amazon brand protection, like I think right away, or right when that process starts. So definitely something to look into. And if you want to check that out, it's brandservices.amazon.com/IP Accelerator. It's IPACCELERATOR. So yeah, go ahead and check that out, guys. Hopefully you can get your trademark filed and be on your way and have some protection from those hijackers and access to some of those tools that only brands have on Amazon.
Thanks for tuning in to part 1 of this episode. Join us every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for live Q&A and bonus content after the recording at sellerroundtable.com. Sponsored by the ultimate software tool for Amazon sales and growth, sellerseo.com and amazingathome.com.